course had to open the garage door to start this video off because, well, one, I needed to take pictures of the truck, and two, to show you guys this amazing alignment that I did by myself. Look at that. We're great guys. We're back, another video. Yeah, just trying to get some more content out lately. Not really just fluff, some actual work, some progress, which is kicking my butt. Like last time, we talked about the GTO being down because of some crazy turbo manifold problems. Just heard an exhaust leak, had a crack, decided to deal with it. Crack kills, so we're going to be using some parts, making a new manifold, but it's a story for a different a problem for a different story. I mean, look at this. We got so of course, me being me, I got flustered, decided screw that, I'm not working on the GTO right now, let's go back to the square body, work on the square body. So threw the knuckles on real quick. These rotors are temporary. I may see if I can find somewhere that can actually do that old school turning them down. I haven't had rotors turned in forever, I just buy new ones, but these are expensive. And I didn't realize, ooh, it's just sitting there. I didn't realize how much the dust shield and the rotor actually covers where it says Barnes 4-wheel drive. Fantastic. Kind of sucks. One reason I did have the door open is I need this stupid tie rod bar, drag link, whatever you want to call it, so I can use it as the measurement to make the new one. Because, like I said, got some tube out, got a high mount, and we're just mocking all that up. But now that I have all that done, before I close the door, like I said, tons of random progress. I threw an intercooler boot on. I got this pipe mocked up. You see my little scratch mark. I might actually come back to this one, but get that. Because this side's already done, which means I can pull that side off technically and powder coat it, but I'll obviously wait to get the other side done too. Two pipes, better to powder coat them since they'll both be the same color. Now, I'm shaking, I'm cold, I'm rambling, so we're gonna get the door closed and actually dive into what we're doing today, which is fuel system stuff, fixing some of the problems we had last time, and we'll talk more about that once I get the door closed and stand in front of the heater, because it's, what does my phone say it is? My phone says it is, come on phone, come on. Oh, it's 39 now. Yay, yay, 39 degrees. I mean, it was sunny today, but it's just so cold. So cold. Alrighty, now we got the door closed, warming myself up with the heater here, and we're gonna actually go over what we're doing. So, we have one saddle tank. Obviously, we have two saddle tanks. This is the priority for today, though. They're actually in really great condition, and I almost want to say they're replacements because, or they were, I mean, that's bare metal, which is weird. And I'll show you once we pop them back open how clean they are on the inside, which is pretty ridiculous. But the main thing here is taking them out. I had to struggle because somebody had welded them in a spot where you couldn't actually get to them. This is the top of the frame rail. The frame is actually obviously the C that sits here this way. So someone had welded them across the tops of all of the brackets on all four, which led to me cutting them to get them out, beating them pretty profusely. But the main problem was I did actually have to hack this one all the way across. Thankfully, a little bit of weld, and we did fix it. I'm gonna go through and I want to clean these ones up. There's three of them obviously that are left that need to be cleaned up to get to roughly the condition of this one. This was more or less just a test. I just wanted to see how it would come out, if I needed to buy new tanks or if we were gonna do the original idea of sticking to the plastic tank idea, which is just too much of a hassle. I'm glad that I decided to stick with the OG tanks, and just a little more work than I was initially anticipating. I found out the reason my gas gauges had stopped working to begin with was the ground wire here had popped free. With the ground wire breaking off, you have power going in and nothing, same one on this. The ground wire was, I mean, it was in the harness, but it just wasn't attached to this. It was just like one strand, so you have your power go on to this part of the sending unit, and that's the ground. So we'll fix all that, clean the tanks up, fix the brackets and clean the brackets. Obviously we fixed that spot, but I did cut that strap too, so we'll have to fix that one. And then this one, the bolt was seized, so we had to cut the bolt, which means sleeve, stud, yeah. A little bit of work, get them back to, you know, manageable, a good condition that I can use. But then we have some filters and some other odds and ends to deal with. Fuel lines, a lift pump. We have a bunch of stuff to do today. I mean, it's obviously going to probably end up in as a more than one day ordeal, but we'll get it done. So that way we have a fuel system, and then that's it. We're down to the last major thing after this, which is... I dread that more and more every day. Instead of rambling, let's dive straight into getting this thing cleaned up and then getting some welding done, and then a little modification I'm going to show you guys that I did on the filler naps. Give you a little idea. Can't see it because it's dark, but a little bit of a modification in there. Let's get to some work instead of just a normal ramble, because this clip is probably already way too long. Oh, it's a wonderful next day, and we see actual progress behind me. Did a quick just getting attacked by her bike. I think it's low-key telling me that it's sunny out and that it wants to come back to life so she can ride it, but still gas tanks. So quickie little touch up, nothing major. Just a little cleanup, and then I did repair that broken strap and that broken strap. So I gotta throw this strap on, but before we can worry about the lines or anything like that, two major things. One, they weren't technically bolted in properly before, so we have to take them and then mock them up in the truck real quick so I can actually just quickly scribe out where all of the bolt holes go. I think like one or two of the bolts were actually in, and then it was just welded, so I want it to bolt in properly. Second dilemma being I broke the brand new switching valve when I was taking the fuel lines out, like 2 months ago, 3 months ago, and I just now noticed it. I broke one of those little, let's see if it shows it, one of those little plastic nipples off. And so what this is obviously 4 lines, 2 returns, 2 feeds, and those turn into 1 feed and 1 return. So I'm gonna use this to mock up where the lines are gonna go. And we're obviously just gonna set the lines up to the fittings, leave a little slack so I know everything fits. But that at least allows me to, 1, get this video done, and then 2, I can get the tanks mocked up, the lines made and everything. I ordered the switching valve, and then so when it gets here, I'll just have to yank it. 2 bolts, put the lines on, hose clamps, simple. Like I said, we have diesel rated, we got 25 feet and 10 feet. Should only need the 25 feet for little extension pieces. The 25 should be, or the 10 should be fine for the feet. But instead of rambling, I did a bunch of other things off camera that were like this. Some nice little shock towers. These will get used obviously later. But besides that, I did get also the steering arm done, and I've just been somewhat mocking up how this sits. So we have, that's gonna go into the hole that's over yonder, and then we got that one there, and it's weird because there's actually gonna have to be a there's a lot of bars right in that tiny little location. But enough ramble, let's get back to mocking stuff up and getting this into somewhat of a good location. Oh, it is the next morning, and I slept like crap because the neighbors on the other side of that wall have a hot tub, and our houses are close enough that when they decide to be up until 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, that I can actually hear them through the garage into the actual house and their dumbasses kept me up all night long. So I'm standing here enjoying, where is the heater? Somewhere down there? Yeah, there. Enjoying some heater time. We did actually get these gas tanks way cleaner. Everything's nice, cleaned out, the brackets are good. I fixed this bracket, that bracket was okay, and then I did fix the other bracket, which we're gonna go check out now. I already got the side done, didn't do any mounting. I was just in a hurry and pissed off, to be honest, but we have a gas tank. I did this side because I knew I wasn't gonna be able to get to it. Do have to wire wheel just this corner, a little bit of right there and a little bit of there. Hit them with some bed liner, but the main thing is I can put a bolt there, a bolt there, a bolt there, a bolt there. That's 4. This one will only have 1, 2, and 3, so I have to go grab 2 more bolts. But that is brackets bolted in. We can see, yeah, I gotta clean up that frame splice because the previous owner wasn't the greatest of fabricators. I'm just happy that this is no longer welded to the frame. It's actually just bolted. Because, yeah, I mean, if you ever want to take your gas tank out, spending 2 days like I did to cut them both out was a pain in the ass when it should just be bolts, drop down. So now we're going to go through basically a monkey foot wheel, and we're going to mock up the other one. I'll leave that under there because I don't need it. And I was smart, and instead of just fighting with those crappy drill bits the entire time, Home Depot tripped some new, less crappier drill bits. So game plan here, because we're trying to get a little better. You know, I suck at filming and talking and doing all that part, so I have so much content that's backed up that I've filmed and I just don't want to post because I hate how I sound or look, or I just got to get over that I'm ugly and sound funny and just get back to I can build stuff that is moderately okay, kind of cool. I don't know. Let's focus on work and less talking, because then I'll hate this footage and delete it too. So yeah, gas tank, mock up, drill some holes, 4 on each one, and then we'll go from there. So I'll see you guys in a minute. Time lapse time. And it's already being one of those days. Camera just decides, oh hey, no memory card in the middle of filming. But there's a memory card because we're filming, I don't know. Doesn't matter because I got it up into place and I needed the 6-port old fuel valve. And this is what I was saying, let's see if it wants to, yeah, snapped one of them off. So we bought another one, it'll be here in a couple days. We'll at least get all the fuel lines mocked up to this, then I at least have an idea. But with the fuel valve in place, I have an idea of what I have to do fuel line wise. We can get the metal lines in, we can get everything mocked up, and then once it's all mocked up, we can actually go through and pull the tanks back down real fast, clean the filters. I should have probably, now that I'm realizing, probably should have put the filters in, just so I could have put these tanks in and just been done. Live and learn. So yeah, fuel valve. Obviously you have your wiring from your switch that will be up front. Hiding way back up here, those are our fuel lines. And same on this side, way up in there, those are our fuel lines. So now we need to connect the two and then connect them to the front. Way up there somewhere. How you say? How are we going to do that? We're actually going to do that fairly simply. Open this hood if I can find where the damn prop is. This is where things are going to get a slight bit complicated, but not really. So we have a lift pump. We want to make sure we get the lift pump installed. That's going to go one spot, which just reminds me I need to drill 2 more holes for that thing. We have fuel cooler, we have OE fuel lines, and then we have some dash 8, which we're just going to use it as 1/2 inch because dash 8 has a 1/2 inch internal diameter, and then we have some 3/8 diesel rated, and then because the stock fuel line has 5/16 We got 5/16. And then we have some 3/8 to 1/2 inch adapters and a 5/16 to 3/8 adapter. I'm gonna get a bunch of this moved and cleaned up. We'll get the fuel lines laid out, and then we'll see exactly what we're doing, get an idea of what's going on, and then start clicking it into the truck, get everything mocked up and installed. Then we have a fuel system. Then it's just down to wiring. We can start this damn monster back up. This is getting to be a long clip, so yeah, I'm gonna get to cleaning. Okay, we got things mocked up, laid on the ground, kind of in the orientation they're gonna go in the truck, roughly, because, how do I wanna word this? There's gonna be it's gonna have to jump from side to side. It's gonna have to go from the driver's side to the passenger side, which on the LB7, everything ran down the driver's side of the frame. The tank was on the driver's side of the frame. If I was just using the tank on the driver's side of the frame, we would be good. We'd have no crossover, no nothing like that. Because I'm going to be running dual tanks, the separator, or the switch valve I mean, is on the passenger side, so we gotta run stuff a little crisscross, which is where all this comes in. So we have our fittings, we have our adapter pieces, we have our lines. Now, with everything kind of laid out, we'll understand a little bit more of what my thought process here was and all that. So we're gonna start at the front, work our way back, show you what I'm planning, and then we're actually going to install it opposite of that. We're going to go tank to selector, switch valve. I keep saying selector valve, switch valve, same thing. And then we're going to work our way from the switching valve to the lift pump, then to the lines, up to the motor, and then I'm actually going to leave the feed off. That way I could actually at some point go through, test everything, get diesel running out of the front of the feed line so I know everything's clean and clear. I mean, if there's some junk in the return and it gets returned to the tank, the filters will catch that. And like I said, we have the new filters that I should have thrown in the tanks already, but I'm an idiot, so whatever. I wouldn't be able to get my hands up there to the sending units to make sure everything's seated anyway, so mock everything up in this video, and then off camera while I'm doing like the pinion nut, and then I'm gonna do the transmission cooler, which is hiding over there. Probably in actually the rear of the truck. I thought I was gonna put it in the grill, but I'm gonna probably run it underneath, like DeBoss Garage did his recently on their cat swapped F350. I like that location, kind of tucked under the truck back behind the driveline. So less ramble, more talk. That's the same thing, you idiot. Less ramble, more work. Let's get stuff done. The weather's looking like it's starting to turn, and I might get some rain, and I probably only have 3 or 4 hours of light left, so I was hoping this was going to be a 2-day video instead of a 3-day video, so less ramble. So many so's and abouts and maybes and causes, and I just need to learn English. I suck. Let's get some work done. So, oh yeah, can't even see each other. Let's get this up a little bit. Alright, so, you know, you go through, you buy stuff, you expect, you know. I was looking at that and I swear I had measured it. I needed like 10, 15 feet, about 20 feet of it just in case. I got 25 feet of the 3/8. I used a good chunk of the 3/8. I didn't use 25 feet. But the piece I need, we're gonna go finish the feed in a second. I just have to step on this button. So, went through, you know, figured out about everything I needed. Every single piece. Made sure, you know, I have a bunch of hose clamps. Oh yeah. Go ahead, wind. Start going, and now rain, and it's gonna be one of those days. I just need to stop worrying and stressing about the YouTube part of this and just get my truck done. So then my truck's done, and then we can do burnouts and YouTube stuff together. Yeah, that sounds better at that point. But like I was saying, so you saw me cut that piece real quick. I needed that barb fitting for this barb fitting. I don't know why I'm looking at you while I'm doing that. So make sure that's pushed back down. Nice and locked in. So, like I was saying, I bought a whole bunch of that blue Dash 8. Pretty spendy, you know, making sure everything fit, and that's how much I needed. That's literally it. Get a nice piece on there. Slip that back up there. And we are finito. Finish. Finish her. I don't know how. Go. Yeah. Okay, that's on there. Okay. Now let's look at all this together. So we're gonna start. Actually, you know what? Let's do this properly. We're starting at the front of the truck, at the tippy top. Then we're working our way back. I don't know why I am in this. I'm just pissed off. I'm irritated. I want my truck done. Little things. I'm just trying to rush and hurry. You notice we have a nice tie rod, and I welded it up, and yeah, it's too long. Ended up threading the bungs all the way in just to see, and we're pigeon toads. Had to buy one bung. So I'm slowing everything down now to make sure, you know, like I said, I welded the mounts up, we have the steering, we have the arms, we're just gonna take our sweet time. I have all the bolts to put everything together now. I just don't want to rush anything. So, slowly, let's go over this together. See if I can be a better YouTuber. So we hop up here at the front. What we see is, we got the return clicked in place. Like I said, I left the feed loose. My plan there is, once we wire it, because that's the next thing is wiring. It's the last thing actually. Well, I want to wire it, and then I want to turn the fuel pump on, and I want to pump fresh clean fuel out before I hook it to the motor. And LB7 injectors have enough problems as is. I'm not trying to hurt that any. So we're gonna look, see if we can see. We got the metal lines that go down underneath the column instead of over. Those guys, can't really see them, but they fish under there. Fish up over, and then got them nice and tidy. I'll be able to throw a little clamp or a little zip tie up here or something like that. And we see our tiny little extension line. We got the feed, and the return is tucked up over here. I need to pull this e-brake cable out because it's broken. That's against it. Now we have the feed. We have the return. We got a McKinney lift pump, which will get changed for a fast when I can afford one. We then have them both following over. The feed line comes over here and goes onto that. And like I said, that's a temporary switching valve, selector valve, whatever you want to call it. I got to pull it out because of the broken fitting. And then tuck under. We have our returns following to the fuel cooler. Everything going up under and over the frame how it's supposed to be. This one fuel line for the return I don't necessarily enjoy. Worst case, figure something out over there, but it's up out of the way. Once I have a clamp right there on that part of the frame, it won't wiggle. Plenty of space for the drive shaft to clear everything. And I figured, I wonder if I could tuck them. I think I have an idea. Yeah, I have an idea. 1 second. Okay, mess is cleaned up. A couple things mocked up again, and now we can actually go over the last few things before we end this out. Intercooler piping. We see, obviously, that's all up there. This goes back in and fits. I need to cut this about here, and this actually will probably get turned up. Let's see. Yeah, I think this will get turned up just a little bit, and then that obviously will have to. But before I can do any of that, I was actually looking where this is gonna land, and there might be some space issues there. So, like I was saying, the next big hassle is getting it to run and drive. Obviously, we have the fuel system now done, and we can walk over. I do need to bolt these in place, but I will have to drop the tank one more time. So I did go through and hog that one out. I need to clean up that corner a little bit. No more stock gas fill valve. I got one bolt, so I do need to drill the opposite bolt for that, but like I said, just all mocked up. That way I know it works. I did mock the front end up decently. Someone was actually asking how I was going to go through and make sure the front end was aligned and straight and basically like this. Eyeballing it, and you know, that's why I wanted to get the wheels and tires on, was making sure they sat in the wheel well, which we can tell this one is actually too far back, so I need to come forward a little bit with it. That's basically what you do, is just visually mock everything up. That's why I got the tie rod in place, got the axles in with the knuckle all sitting, and we can actually see the steering arm shoots over, you know, connect onto the inside. That's why this one only has one hole and the other one has two. It's because that will have a bar that goes down, but then the panhard needs to have a bar that's going to go down. So we'll have three we'll have three bars that go wee down like that. That's going to be pretty crazy. Lots of little things, and that's what's bugging me. So I'm going to do a lot of the little things off camera, unless you guys want to see a bunch of 5-minute videos, little tiny things, 5-6 minute videos. If that's something you're interested in, let me know. You know, making the intercooler piping plus like the pinion nut, instead of a long drawn out thing where it took me like 3 days to get this done. Because breaking drill bits, then getting one thing wrong, getting the next thing wrong, getting one instead of two, and yeah, just like I said, so much backed up footage that I should just be posting, but I don't know. I don't want to post fluff, so I don't. Now this is a ramble. I'm gonna get back to working because we have a complete fuel system on an almost complete Duramax K30. And with that, we're gonna head out of here. I am going to jump into some wiring that I've been doing. Obviously the painless, I'd had to start to lay the stock harness out to mimic it. So yeah, realizing how bad my stock harness was as I do that. I don't know how this truck never caught on fire. Now we're just rambling, so we're gonna let you guys go over there. Have a good day, you guys. We'll see you on the next one. Average Joe Builds out.